Xiaomi has done it again, releasing a slew of Android smartphones that comes with specs that has walks the budget for the Filipino masses. Among the three that was released, the Redmi Note 9, Note 9S, and the Note 9 Pro, the Redmi Note 9S hits the spot for budget and features and sits between the lower and highest spec of the three devices. As a former Nokia fan, I decided to test out a Xiaomi device and see what it is capable of. And to my surprise, it feels like I made the right choice. This is David from Yes Hello 911, and this is my take on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 9S. The design of the Redmi Note 9S is very eye-candy. On the back, there's a square housing for the cameras and some branding on the bottom. On the sides, we have a volume rocker and a power button that also doubles as a fingerprint scanner. At the top, we have the IR blaster, which can be used to turn on your appliances at home, and also a microphone. On the bottom, we have the micro USB port, the speaker, and another microphone, and of course, the headset jack. On the front, we have the 6.67 IPS LCD display with a call speaker at the top. There's also an LED notification light that is hidden beneath the call speaker too. Using the fingerprint scanner takes a little bit of a learning curve. This is because most of us are used on having it rest on the back. On my first day with the phone, I was having trouble getting familiar with the new fingerprint scanner, mainly because I am left-handed, but you'll get used to it in the long run. Overall, the design is visually pleasing. The unit I have here is the 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. Here's a quick spec sheet of the device. Navigating the OS is smooth with minimal stutters, especially when opening too many apps. The phone runs on Android 10 with a MIUI skin on top. We have dark mode, bubbles for calling, some new security features which are all introduced in Android 10. But what's missing here is the new navigation gestures that features a long strip on the bottom. Instead, you only get the traditional navigation buttons and MIUI's own gestures, which are kind of similar to Android 10's, with some few modifications. But MIUI still gives you plenty of extras that are not available on vanilla Android, such as dual apps, enterprise mode, and most of all, themes for people that love to customize their phone. You also get updates such as security patches directly from Google too, as well as major MIUI updates from Xiaomi. The Redmi Note 9S is touted as a gaming phone thanks to the Snapdragon 720G processor. Games run at a solid 60 FPS, except for others that are reliant on its game engine, such as Mobile Legends, where you have to toggle an option to let it run in higher frame rates. MIUI also has a Game Turbo feature that enhances game performance by clearing up memory. It also comes along with other bells and whistles, such as in-game shortcuts to your favorite social media apps and settings. During my gaming sessions, I haven't experienced any stutters that hinders my gameplay experience. The Snapdragon 720G does wonders to the phone's gaming performance, and I couldn't ask for more. The most exciting part of this phone is the camera department. At first glance, it may look just like your ordinary camera shooter. But if you delve deep into MIUI's camera app, you get tons of features that you wouldn't expect for this price range. For the rear, we have the 48MP main camera, the 8MP ultra-wide, 5MP macro, and 2MP depth sensor. For still photos, we have the normal photo mode, 48MP ultra HD mode, portrait mode for bokeh shots, night mode, panorama, and pro mode. Macro mode is accessible in the main photo mode settings, as well as other features such as Google Lens, docks, and more. For the front camera, we have a 16MP shooter that also comes with portrait mode and slow motion video. For video recording, we have the main video mode that can record up to 4K resolution and comes with different FPS settings. There's also short video mode with kaleidoscope and speed options, and slow motion mode that lets you record up to 960 FPS at 720p resolution. The best part? Pro mode is also usable for video shooting too. So if you're more into filmmaking, then this phone is definitely for you. As seen from the samples, the camera performance really delivers promising results for its price range, although some images and videos do look a little blurry during normal night shots, but you have the night mode and pro mode for that. Call quality is also surprisingly great. Audio is crisp and clear, and there are no signs of any call drops of some sort. It also supports HD calling too, especially if you're using supported postpaid SIMs. HD calling gives you super clear audio call quality only by using your carrier plan. Speaker performance is kind of a mixed bag. I have some issues with playing music because it gets muffled sometimes, especially if you're blasting the volume all the way up. But it's a different scenario if you use earphones or headset. Although keep in mind that this also depends on the quality of your wearables too. Recording quality for voice is a hit or miss, where it sounds pretty low sometimes. But this is not the case for video recording, where the recorded audio for video is surprisingly loud and clear. Maybe Xiaomi can fix this in future updates. The phone comes with a whopping 5020 mAh of battery and supports up to 18 watts of fast charging. Upon testing, the phone goes from 0 to 54% in just 48 minutes, and a full 100% at almost 2 hours. However, this still depends on how you use the phone. The Redmi Note 9S is truly a bang for the buck smartphone if you don't mind its atrocious speaker quality and low volume audio recording. But if ever this is a software issue, I hope Xiaomi releases a patch immediately, because this phone is almost near perfect. The smartphone competition is heating up in the Philippines, but if you were to ask me which brand to prefer, I'd say that go whatever your heart and wallet says. It all depends on your preference, as different brands has their own pros and cons. The Redmi Note 9S retails at a price of 10,490 for the 464 variant and 11,990 for the 6128 variant. It's available for purchase at Xiaomi's flagship store at Lazada and their international store at Shopee. And that's it for a Redmi Note 9S review. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. You can also leave a comment below if you have more questions for the device. Thanks for watching.